Using a real live deal in Tampa, Florida, I'm going to show you why you suck at wholesaling. Now, this is a property that a student in my Finder program got under contract for $200,000 and submitted to me to buy for all cash. The problem is the price that makes this a good deal for me is $165,000. So in this video, I'm going to explain in detail my exact due diligence and analysis process. This will show you firsthand how to get good deals that you can wholesale for profit. Now, I even recorded a live phone conversation with the agent where I explained why I needed a lower price and my attempt to get a price reduction. Listen, no one shows you wholesaling and flipping at this level of detail, so strap in for a ride. Before we dive in, it's important you understand my style of teaching. The way I'm going to show you how to wholesale is to show you how to fix and flip. The reason is because if you really want to become an expert wholesaler, you have to understand how flippers underwrite and analyze deals. In today's market, more than ever, the better you understand your cash buyers, the better you'll be at bringing deals that fit their criteria. And since I've been doing both for nearly 20 years, no one is more qualified. In this case, I'm the cash buyer. Now, if you didn't know, I fix and flip houses all over the US, and I'll pay you $10,000 for every deal you find and bring me that meets my criteria. If that sounds exciting, go to my10kcheck.com to learn more. So first, let me tell you about this property in Tampa. It's a 1,514 square foot ranch on a slab foundation with no garage, and currently is a 2-bedroom with 1 bath. What makes this property unique is the unfinished addition. The value add here is to convert the addition to a master suite with a master bathroom. Converting it from a 2-bedroom, 1 bath to a 3-bedroom, 2 bath, along with doing a full rehab, would significantly increase the after repair value, or ARV, to $350,000. That's the price it would sell for after it's fixed up. Now I'll show you how I established the ARV in a minute, so keep watching. This property was originally listed for sale with an agent for $255,000. which was way overpriced. Then it was reduced to $230,000 and my student locked it up for $229,000, which was still too high. Then they requested a price reduction to $200,000, which the seller accepted. And that's when I stepped in to see if $200,000 was a deal. So now that I've explained the property and contract price, I need to decide if $200,000 is a good deal. To do that, I need to establish 2 critical numbers, the ARV and the repair cost. Once I know those 2 figures, I can determine the buy price that would make this a good deal. Let's look at the rehab cost and then the ARV. Taking a closer look at the condition, you can see that it has yellow vinyl siding. That needs replaced, and in Tampa, the market wants stucco, not vinyl. How do I know that? Because when looking at renovated homes in the neighborhood, flippers are doing stucco, not vinyl. It needs new intact hurricane windows. That's also a big deal when rehabbing in Tampa. The roof is okay, but it is 10 years old. How do I know that? Because I asked. It's definitely going to need landscaping. On the inside, it needs a full remodel, including refinished wood floors, a new bathroom since the tile is way outdated. I might be able to leave the cabinets and just do countertops, but I'd prefer to do a brand new kitchen. It needs appliances, new electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, doors and trim, paint, and staging. Now, all of that is pretty normal and would cost around $50,000 to do a full rehab, not cutting any corners. But remember, the only way this deal works is to convert the addition to a master suite, making it a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. The problem is, as you can see in this pic, it needs a full gut, and there's really no way to know how much it will cost and if it's even feasible to get plumbing to the new bathroom. Not only that, but take a look. There are steps down into the room, and then it has low ceilings. Not ideal when trying to flip for top dollar. So what do you do in a situation like this? The solution is to ask for due diligence from the seller to get bids from a contractor to verify it can be done, and then also to find out how much it will cost. Due diligence, or an inspection contingency, means you have a binding contract with the seller, but you have a window of time to do research on the addition, and if the information gathered is not satisfactory, you can terminate the contract without any repercussions. For something like this, 7 to 10 days for due diligence is typical. And that's what we did. My student got a bid from a local reputable contractor that came back at $31,000, and the agent got a bid as well that came back at like $37,000. Both contractors quoted $85,000 to $90,000 for the whole project, but I think I could get it done for maybe around $80,000. Again, if this would have been a regular cosmetic flip, I probably wouldn't have gotten bids as a contingency because it's not very complicated to figure out carpet and paint, kitchen and bath work. But with the scary addition, I had to get bids to understand the real numbers. By the way, if you need a good Rehab Estimator tool, I'll give you mine for free. It has line items and preset values for every item of the rehab. I'll put the download link in the description below for you. So now that I have a rehab budget, let's take a look at the after repair value, or ARV, and put it all together. The way to determine the ARV is to look closely at similar homes that have been renovated in the same neighborhood. These are called comps, and we often call the process of looking at comps comping a property. First, let's define our neighborhood. Right here is where our subject property is. That means I want to look at comps that are as close by as possible. The closer to the deal, the more relevant the comps. Now, I want to make sure I'm looking at comps that have similar features such as style of home, square footage, beds and baths, foundation, garages, lot size, age built, and things like pools, AC, and so on. Lastly, I want to look at comps that have recently sold. Now, the more recent, the better. And since at the time of this recording, the market has slowed down, I need to factor in a discount in ARV if I think the market might drop some more. Now, I did a video that explains how to see if the market is declining, and if it is, how to adjust accordingly. Fortunately, overall, Tampa has been holding on and not really dropping in value. Now, one thing I like to do when I find a relevant comp is I look at the price per square foot rather than the sold price. For example, the 3 best comps I found that recently sold in the past 3 months were this house on Arden Avenue that sold for $236 per foot. This house on Highland Avenue that sold for $234 per foot, and this house on Ola Avenue that sold for $227 per foot. The average of those 3 is $232 per foot. Now we'll take a closer look at these in a minute, but these are the most relevant comps in the neighborhood. So if I take my deal, which is 1514 square foot, and I multiply it by the average price per square foot of my comps, which again is $232 per foot, my ARV would be approximately $350,000. Now I created a tool that will help you comp properties that makes the process fast and easy, and I'll give it to you for free. Just go to compmydeal.com. So now that I have an ARV of $350,000 and a rehab budget of $80,000, I can calculate my buy price. Aside from the cost of rehab, there are 2 other soft costs to consider when flipping a house. And don't forget the most important figure, your desired profit. The first soft cost is closing and commissions. You're going to pay some fees when you buy it, and then when you sell, you'll pay closing fees again, as well as commissions. On average, closing and commissions comes to about 9% of ARV. The other soft cost is financing, or what I call carrying cost. Since most flippers borrow short-term financing called hard money or private money, carrying cost is what you pay in financing during the time you own the property. On average, carrying cost is about 6% of ARV. And my goal, and what I highly recommend to you as well when flipping, is to factor 15% of ARV for profit. Now, when you add up closing, carrying, and profit, that comes to 30% of ARV. That has to come right off the top. So a simple formula flippers use is ARV times 70% minus repairs gets to your buy price. In our example, $350,000 ARV times 70% minus $80,000 in rehab equals $165,000. Now I built a deal analyzer tool that automatically calculates all the numbers for you. It's included for free with my comping tool. Again, to get that for free, just go to compmydeal.com. So now what? We have a contract price for $200,000 and a desired buy price of $165,000. At this point, I have 2 options. I can terminate the contract, or I can attempt to get a price reduction to $165,000. And although it's a long shot, I'm going to attempt a price reduction. So I called the buyer's agent representing my student. Let's cut to that call, and I highly recommend you listen to our conversation. This agent was awesome, and we had a really high-level conversation. We talked about the property, the comps, the numbers, and so on. This will help you understand how to position yourself when working with agents. Let's cut to the call. But I wanted to talk to you because I'm the finance partner on this project.
Yes.
Been working on some due diligence on this. I think you're aware of the addition, and got back some bids. So I just wanted to kind of walk through this with you. And I realize you're not the listing agent, correct?
No, I'm not. I'm the buyer's agent.
Okay. So we may need to relay some information back and then see what we do from here. But My concern is that the renovation is a lot more than I originally anticipated, mostly from the addition, because currently it's a 2-1. It has to be a 3-2 in order to compete in the market, which means we have to finish that addition and make that a master with a bathroom, right? So,
Correct.
That bid came back around 31,000. I had no idea it would be that, but it makes sense because it's basically starting from scratch in a way. And then going through the rest of the project with the contractor, if I leave those cabinets and I do everything else, I need to do new siding, I need to do windows. I'm going to try to not do the roof.
2012, so I believe it's 10 years.
Yeah, it looks okay, but it could go either way, right? It could get replaced or it could not. I want to leave the cabinets, do new countertops, then everything else. Refinish the wood floors. It's going to need new flooring in the kitchen because you can't save those floors. But I am going to need to do some landscaping, some siding, and need to do those intact windows for out there because of the weather.
Not only that, a couple of those windows are broken.
Right. So the whole project's coming in with the addition around 85 to 90.
That's exactly what my contractor said as well.
Okay.
But that was replacing the cabinets and everything. He said we might be able to shave a little bit off of that. He said probably $7,500 off the kitchen if you were just to replace the countertops and hang on to the cabinets, maybe just spray them white or something.
So I need to be all in at around 240, 245 max. And so at a buy of 2, that only gives me a budget of 45. I'm off here because I've got to adjust a little bit for my resale price due to the market. Now, Tampa's holding pretty good. That area is holding pretty good, at least the last few months. It is starting to flatten.
It's the #1 market in the country.
Yeah. I mean, compared to other markets that I do deals in, it's holding up pretty good. We may see some correction, but I don't think it's going to be anything like we're seeing everywhere else. I think a 350, 345, 350 price on the back end is reasonable.
That's definitely probably lower than what you can get. I definitely think that you can push an ARV definitely higher than 345.
To where are you thinking?
I saw on the high end at 415 when I ran the comps almost a month ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever we first went under contract. So,
I mean, I'm looking at 3 comps right in that neighborhood. Around 230 to 235 a foot is where there's 3 comps right now, and that's not going far. That's within a couple streets away.
Are these comps within 20% of the same size?
Yeah. So like this one here, it's on Arden Avenue. It's a 3-2 and it's 1,400, almost 1,400 feet. But it's a ranch style like ours, no garage and a full remodel. It got 321. But again, I'm going off of price per. So what I do is I go price per foot, but then I stay really tight on the similarities. So I don't, I do a little bit of a range on square feet.
How many square feet is Otis?
Otis is 15 and some change. I got it right here, 15, 14.
At the price per foot, then what's that comp out to?
Yeah, if I go with a 231 price per foot, which again, I got a 236, 234, and 227. So that those 3 comps are averaging right around the 230. I'm not factoring in any decline. So I'm assuming that the market holds out in 6 months. I can sell it still at the same price as recent solds, which is a little bit of a gamble because if it goes down $10 a foot, that's going to make a difference, right? So I'm not really factoring in a decline. I think Tampa's going to hold out.
I wish I was in front of my computer so that I could dive into these comps that we were looking at, because I really feel that even when we calculated the lower ARV at 355, because originally I think we used like a 380 number.
There's one right here. It's not the best rehab, but it's on Highland, which is literally 2 or 3 streets.
I know which one it is. I know exactly which one that one is. It's like 3 blocks away. And I did see that one. Was the bad comp or the good?
That's the bad one. That's got 305. The one that's pretty good is this one on Arden. That one's a total flipper. They did a fantastic job. They got 320, but there's a 350. This is a great comp here. It's a 3-1 on Ola. So it's just south of what it's really close.
I do recall seeing that one.
That's a really sharp house. It's not a flip. It's not a total rehab. Like it's not a flipper, but it's pretty dang nice, and it sold at 227 a foot and it's 1544. So it's basically our size. Right now, there is this one down here at 390. There's one on Dartmouth.
Okay.
This got 390 at 1452 a foot, but there's no pictures of the rehab. It's showing it like before on here.
Okay.
And that thing got 269 a foot. But again, that's like the outlier. Now this one too crushed it up here on Juniper, but this thing's like over the top. Have you seen this one? It got 271 a foot. It's a 3.2, 1444. But like, I don't know that I could make ours look this nice because ours is still going to have that addition, which is a step down. It's just a funky floor plan. And this one's not.
Who's the contractor? Do you have relationships with these contractors, or are these people that you have not met yet?
Not met yet. So that's the other thing is when I ran my numbers, I was coming in around there. Your guy came in around there. This guy, which is a local guy that's really got a great reputation, really well known, doing a lot of deals. So he gets it. And he's coming in around that number. I mean, we might trim 5 off, but it's going to be 75 to 85, no matter who.
Not trying to say the numbers or anything, but if you would be open to talking to the contractor that I got a quote from, his numbers were a little different. Overall, they were the same. He said between the 80 and the 90,000 range, but that was to restucco the entire perimeter, the entire outside. That was to do everything inside and out, and he would make it look like that. Like that flip that you're looking at right now.
I mean, this one is like a luxury flip. I mean, it's got all windows, new roof, it's stucco, not siding, and it's got a tiny house on it. It's got like this little.
Oh wow. Okay.
This to me looks like 100K to get here. I mean, it's nice. And when did this sell? 2 months ago. So that's a little scary for me that it's 2 months ago, they might have been locked in at a good rate and stuff. I don't know. I mean, this is pushing it. This would be so pushing max, like to really push this market. If you do an over the top rehab, and again, even if ours was done at the same quality, a buyer's still going to come in and say, okay, my master is actually an addition. And to get to my master, I got to take steps down.
That is true. That is true.
And I got a low ceiling. It's not a high ceiling. It's like a low ceiling.
Correct.
I would hate that. If I was a buyer, I would put a real ding on that when I'm looking. Like I'd be like, man, I get what they did here. They took this funky addition. They made it into a master. That's awesome. But it's not a normal master. It's an addition.
I get that. Yeah.
I wish the ceiling was another foot higher and I didn't have steps. So then it would feel more natural. But you're literally taking 2 steps down into a master and then the ceiling's low from there.
That's fair. Yeah. And that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
That's not going to get you top dollar. It's not.
Yeah. Right.
A buyer's not going to pay a premium for that type of thing.
If it's done right, though, I don't.
It'll be okay.
Penalize it.
No, but I wouldn't be pushing.
Right.
I just don't think you can push 250 a foot on this. I think 350 is the right number, and I think 80, somewhere around 80 on the rehab is the right budget. But that's a big rehab to buy it too. You're not making much money. You're going to make 25 on it. It's just not worth all the work.
Mm-hmm.
At 170, that's a deal. What I do is I factor in, just so you understand how flippers look at it, is I follow the 70%, which means 231 a foot, which is the average of 3 really good comps. That puts me at 350 ARV, 70% of 350, which means I'm taking 30% for soft costs, which is 9% commissions and closing, 6% financing, and 15% for profit.
So you're doing 70%.
Yeah.
350.
Yep. 70% of 350. I'm just telling you where the 30's coming off of, right? And then subtract, 80 in rehab puts me at 65.
Yeah.
I know you guys have already got the seller down from where originally.
Definitely not going to go any lower.
I know. I mean,
they were at 255 when we first started, and then they made a price reduction to 230, and we went under contract at 229.1. And then I had to come back and tell the seller that we're going to have to cancel the contract or terminate the contract unless we can get it down to 2. There was a lot of resistance there, and they actually told me to go ahead and cancel it. I sent them the release and cancellation, and then they contacted us back and said, no, we'll make it work at 200, but we got to get it to the finish line. Yeah, I'm dreading this phone call.
I could still close in 5 days, but I got to be at 170. I really want to be at 165, but I'd go up to 170 just to try to. But that's 30 grand off of 200, which they already came way down on where they were.
There's no way they're going to go. I already know this, that they're not going to go any lower. I agree with you as far as the step down on the addition. I think that And I get it that you want to make sure that you're conservative with the estimate for the ARV. Also, I do think that realistically though, you'll get more than 350 for it at the end of the day. But again, I don't have a crystal ball, and it's your money too. So
Yeah,
it's more important for what you feel comfortable with. So
I mean, if we were in the same market we were last year, I'd be like, yeah, because if I own it for 6 months, it'll be worth 50 grand more just because time went by.
right, exactly.
And we'd list it for 375 and we get a 425 offer.
Without a doubt.
Oh man, but I can't make this work at 2.
Okay.
Let's at least try, Drew. Like, I mean, why not? Because if we're canceling, might as well say, hey, we can still close on the 12th, but we gotta be at 170. Let them say no versus just
a Hail Mary is worth it.
Yeah, Hail Mary this thing. Exactly.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, I'm definitely going to throw that out there.
Okay.
I just going to be an uncomfortable conversation because that's kind of the same conversation that I had with them when
the first time
down from 230 to 200. I was like, don't worry, we're going to get to the finish line.
Oh no.
I'm going to have to be like, no, this time I really mean it.
Yeah.
So you're saying though that you would still be able to definitively close on
definitively. I'd be ready to wire on Monday at 170.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. At the end of the day, I'll never talk to this person again, probably. So it's worth a shot. I really don't think it's going to work, but I'll definitely let you know if it does.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Let me know. Okay. Bye.